Today is a day of Rooski history. I have never done what I'm about to do today. And I figure we start at the beginning. This whole stream is inspired by an interview I saw with Rick Beato and Stuart Copeland. Now, I watched their interview, Rick's interview with Stuart, and I was blown away. I was so captivated by the personality that was Stuart Copeland. I was amazed by the stories. I loved his take on music. I loved the fact that, he just banged drums. I loved hearing his story of he did stuff, most of his things in one or two takes, where the other two members of the band got to do stuff, over the course of months to perfect it. It blew me away. And I kind of laughingly said to myself, I'm going to do the entire Police catalog based on the voice of Stuart Copeland, not the voice of Sting. And here I am doing it. I got with my mod team, and I told them I want to do all 5 albums in a day. I think if I start early enough in the day, we can really knock that out and maybe do an entire catalog for in a day. And it's a catalog that I am vaguely familiar with, which is to say, in this context, I know the hits. I like when I look at the top songs, I know those. And I somebody once upon a time bought me a The Police t-shirt, which because I only knew the hits, I didn't feel like I could continue on wearing. So I didn't. They bought it for me in a time that I was really into Sting's Tiny Desk performance with Shaggy. And that's just literal random subtext for you. But I don't really know much about Sting. I know my dad told me he was a really big fan of The Police. I think that this was kind of hitting him right in his high school years. I think he said he graduated 1984. So, they were kind of releasing the bulk of their catalog right throughout my dad's formative, high school years of music. So I do know a little bit, but it wasn't like he shared The Police with me too much. We never sat down and like when I was an adult and they weren't weird about secular music. We didn't ever sit down and just listen to The Police like we did with maybe Tom Petty, or Jim Morrison's American Prayer. So yeah, this is kind of going to be one of those things where we get to experience the entire chronology of a band in a day. I'm going to figure out which album I liked, which era I liked the best. And all of this is because Rick Beato had a fantastic interview with Stuart Copeland. If you have not seen that interview, I highly recommend you go and watch it. It was fascinating. I was riveted. And I very much imagine I'm going to end up watching the other 2 interviews with the other 2 bandmates after we finish this day. But yeah, guys, let's set Rooski history, shall we? This is a music discovery stream. I need you to let me know. Are you familiar with this artist and this catalog or this band? Have you heard this album before, or are you raw dogging a very first listen with me? You got to let me know. Again, the basis of what we do together is, discover music. So guys, seems like long overdue. Seems like something I should have known, but here we are. And as we go through it, of course, I'll tell you if I have heard a song or not. So definitely, I'm not going to just act like I haven't heard a song that I have, rest assured. Guys, I'm going to hit the play button. Before I do, it's very important to me that you know that you are awesome, that you are valuable, that you are important, that you matter, that you are deserving of love, and that I am abundantly grateful for even a moment of your time. If you like what you see, feel free to hit the like and the subscribe button. It goes a long way to help me out. If you really like what you see, leave a comment. I would love to hear from you, or join us on Kick or Twitch. I stream every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Arizona time. These people over here are actually the best people. Come hang out with us. Come discover music with us. I know I speak for all of us when I say we would actually love to have you by. Guys, I'm starting at the beginning. This looks like it came out November 2nd of 1978 as their first album. I've also only ever heard the hits from them, so definitely, guys, if you are raw dogging, let us know. And we'll go from there. Guys, if you have context as we go through it, also feel free to provide it. I know I'm not the only one that goes back and watches the video just to get your guys' input from the chat. So, I'm vain. Guys, without further ado, to start off the Police, April Fool's Day featuring The Police. Here we go. The Police. Outlandos d'Amour. Outlaws of Love, I'm told, is what it means. Opening up with the song Next to You, the very first song that people heard from The Police. Let's go. Really? I didn't know Sting sounded like that. I didn't know he had that like barky, roary crunch to him. He has a nice little bark with a bite, doesn't he? I didn't know he ever crunched his vocals like that. I've only ever heard the hits version of Sting. I didn't know that they had like a, kind of a punky outing. Of course, I heard Stuart talk about little bits and pieces, so anything I have is going to kind of be informed off of that. But I certainly didn't know that they ever had those sound textures in their wheelhouse. Maybe I knew that they could make them, but I didn't know that they did make them, is probably the better distinction to say, or the better way to clarify that. You don't see anybody's name but Sting? Is this a slide? Sting, I didn't know. See, and it's interesting because it doesn't necessarily have like the dirt affiliated with punk rock a lot of the times. Like this feels like it's a kind of a more major key thing. So it does feel like an interesting overlap of like punk rock with like what we now call classic rock. But I guess at that time it was just kind of contemporary to other music. It's got that kind of soaring moment with that, what can I do? And it really punches. I'm blown away to think that, Stuart sat down and listened to the song once and then just like, okay, hit play, like hit record. Because some of these fills are just, knowing that the drums are improv at its finest in a lot of ways is really, really, really cool. Knowing that he then feels like the audience expects him to completely recreate the same thing over and over as if it's like a chord progression is hilarious to me. And knowing that he sees that with almost this wholesome artistic irreverence is so cool. I guess it adds a total, knowing what I know, seeing a dude kind of reflect on his career, not knowing the sum of his career, and then hearing this and knowing a little bit about that adds such a depth to me. You heard it for the first time probably and were amazed because like it was new and fresh and like people weren't making music that really sounded like this. I'm hearing it with an interestingly different perspective, right? Like the Police have always existed in my lifetime. There was never a moment where like I existed and they did not. And in fact, there was never a moment where I existed and their entire catalog did not, right? So to me, they've always just been almost a white noise of life that I knew I heard on the radio. I love hearing this. Having the backing story going into it is amazing, even if it's just one person's perspective. Why can I do? All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I want is to be next to you. All I I really love this. That was such a good first impression because it really shattered when you go into music and you kind of get your preconceived notions shattered. That's almost one of my favorite parts. And alas, there was a board fade. I'm not gonna dunk too hard on it. I feel like I've heard enough people now explain to me almost what like the perceived necessity of the board fade was in the time period. So sometimes it's a little abrasive, but this one wasn't one that I'm gonna dunk on. It was a good enough one. By the way, Rooskies, make our new friends feel at home. Marty, welcome to the Rooskies. Thanks for hanging out. If you see somebody that is a first time chatter, be the Rooskies that you are, and say welcome, what's up. Make sure everybody feels at home. Okay, not a bad way to start off April Fool's Day featuring the Police. Next one is So Lonely. Now, this is one I've heard, but I've never sat and critically listened to it, right? Like, I've only ever heard it in passing. I love that. This guitar tone is kind of interesting because it's kind of like you got that like slapbacky reverb sort of sound, but it feels very much like I don't know, is there like an envelope filter on it or something? Because it's kind of got that like more aggressive reverb tone than like a Jerry Garcia sound. It's kind of got the reggae vibe too, chorusy for sure, but it feels like there's definitely like it's a real poppy like sound. Like those strings are really pink. But I just can't convince myself. Ring. I couldn't live with no one else. And I can only play that part and sit and nurse my broken heart. So lonely. Like that, Phil. This. And then dang it. And then that transition back into the soft part, like he holds sticks like a proper drummer. So like, are you saying like he's holding with like the jazz hands? I'm doing this. I don't act traditional. Okay, yeah. So the other thing I was kind of wondering, please forgive me if this is common knowledge. Stewart has an American accent. The police are from London. Can somebody fill that gap for me? Now, the lyrics, did Sting come with a lot of these songs already written? I'm kind of wondering. Someone told me yesterday that when you throw your love away, you act as if you just don't care. You look as if you're going somewhere, but I just can't convince myself. I couldn't live with no one else, and I can only play the part and sit and nurse my broken heart. It kind of feels like you have the stream of consciousness thought on a conversation. Like you're just coming in very naturally with internal dialogue, and kind of recognizing that this is the place I am. It's easy for them to say, this is how I'm supposed to act, but there's no way I can do that. The only thing I currently have the ability to do is sit and feel like crap. If I'm sure that is a universal human experience, right? We've all had people that have had their own epiphanies that are oh, I can't let this bother me anymore, and everybody should be like that. And then they project that onto other people who might not be in a place to where they have that ability, because they got to let whatever, loneliness, grief, whatever, run its course, do its part. All of this to say, it's a really, really kind of heavy set acknowledgement of sadness and loneliness with an incredibly upbeat sound. I never considered the lyrics before. The only part of the lyrics I ever would have considered are so lonely, so lonely, so lonely. Those are the only lyrics I ever came pre-equipped with, right? So hearing how actually deep the thought process is into this song, and then how cheerfully melancholic it is, I love it. The pump and energy of the drums is nuts. That guitar bit. All made up and nowhere to go. It's amazing what they do with the dynamics here. Just take a seat, they're always free. No surprise, no mystery. In this theater that I call my soul. It's like we're playing a borrowed scale. I also want you guys to be paying attention to the big sting here. Listen to the bass line as he's doing this. It sounds like he's just picking, but I don't think he is. Right here. Well, in the next bit. Right here. This is dynamic bass playing, and he's singing over it. I'm so lonely, I Listen to that. He goes like a madman during the board fade. He just gets like one more taster in there before the thing fades out. You know, I really want you to be thinking about the fact that if you're a musician and you've ever taken a venture at like playing your instrument while singing, it is not always, it's not the easiest thing to do in the beginning. It feels like trying to use two muscles at the same time, doing things that your brain just isn't used to doing. So like you'll go to try to sing and play, and some musicians just simply cannot sing and play at the same time. It's not easy to do. I think like for drummers, it would be the equivalent of like playing, like 4 limbs, 4 different measures. They're like 4 limbs, 4 measures is probably harder than singing and playing at the same time, in fairness. But I think it kind of articulates that random moment of like your brain just kind of stops one of the processes that you're doing, kicks in. When you have dynamic bass lines, it's hard to sing. I say this about like, like seminal guitar players, guys that'll like shred and sing at the same time. There's not a ton of them that do it, right? And the ones that do, they stand out. And Sting is kind of, as I'm sitting here listening to this, it's occurring to me that like this man not only like played and sang, he probably didn't do them at the same time when recording, but then he had to do them live. So, and they clearly had a successful career, so it would lead me to believe that like that guy in a live context is playing these redonkulous bass lines and singing them. Put one and one together, dude. Okay, and actually, I just got hit with the ad alert, so I'm going to run an ad really quick, and we're going to go hop back in. Roxanne is another song I am familiar with. Dang, so maybe their first album really did... Okay, hang on. So I heard So Lonely, I heard Roxanne. I don't know that I heard any of these others, so now you know. Be right back. Go, slay your mighty set, stretch, put sunscreen on, get a snack, pee, do whatever you got to do. I'll be right back. Guys, I just got the most adorable video sent to me that I want to share with you because it really just made my my life. My sister and her and niece, my niece and nephews are watching the show, and my sister just sent me this beautiful, like wonderful video of my like. I'm not muted. Am I? There's no way I'm muted. Yeah, no, I'm not muted. Okay, we're good. No, look at this. My sister sent me this video.
You like this song? It's on the TV. Who's that?
The police passed the test. The police immediately passed the test. If Emery Joe likes the police to be dancing, the police passed the test. Oh my gosh, my heart is muted. Not muted, my heart is melted. I read the word muted and it came out of my mouth. Let's get into the next song. I have a fresh cup of coffee. My heart is so full, golly, shout out to Emery Joe. That just made my morning. W's for that little lady. This is one I know. Interesting subtext. I know this song because of the TV show Community. If you know the episode I'm talking about, you know. So if it's one of those if you know moments. But I first heard this because of the TV show Community, one of my favorite episodes. But yeah, this is where yep, exactly. This is where I know that song from. This is one I did go out of my way to listen to quite a bit. Sting accidentally sit down on the piano keyboard in the studio, resulting in the atonal chord and laughter preserved at the beginning of the track. In liner notes, Sting said, "But piano." Credited.
Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light. Those days are over. You don't have to sell your body to the night. Roxanne, you don't have to wear that dress tonight. Walk the streets for money. You don't care if it's wrong or if it's right. Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light. Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light. Roxanne.
Can I ask a question? For the background vocals, did all of the guys in the band sing? Like, did each of them have a microphone? Or like, are these overdubs from like Sting himself?
Roxanne, Roxanne,
It's all of them?
Row!
This guitar part is so nice.
I love you since I knew you. I wouldn't talk down to you. I have to tell you just how I feel. I won't share you with another boy. I know my mind is made up.
This could also be a silly question. Roxanne isn't written about like a person, is it? It seems like Sting, from in my impression of the little bit I know of his lyrics, is a guy that kind of like creates stories for people and puts himself like well, kind of empathetically into the story that he's created. Like he's more of a character builder than but maybe I'm also wrong. Obviously I know what it's about, but I didn't know if it was about a like specific person or if she's like if Roxanne like represents an idea more than a specific person.
So put away your makeup. Told you once, I won't tell you again. It's a bad way. Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light.
I love this bell work while he's working the toms.
You don't have to put on the red light. You don't have to put on the red light. Roxanne, Roxanne, Roxanne,
See, it does seem like the board fade was a common practice in a lot of albums in the time period, so I think I'm a little bit more forgiving to board fades from the time period because of the things that they had to deal with that like musicians today do not, like getting airplay and cutting down to condense time on an actual vinyl record, budgets, things like that. It actually makes it a little bit easier for me to accept the more I've like dug into music and the music history. Roxanne is a story. Don't Stand So Close to Me is the first time Sting's is from Sting's time as a teacher to hormonal young women, though. Okay. So the next one is Hole in My Life. And so I knew the last two songs. The first three songs, I mean, this album immediately opens up with a reason to listen to it and keep listening to it. Like, those three songs alone would bring anybody back to this album. Let's get into the rest of it, though. We've had the meat. Let's get the potatoes. Hole in My Life. Does anybody have a deep track favorite? Any familiars out there have a deep track favorite from this album? Ooh. This is so cool. The funky, the swing.
Shadow in my heart, tearing me apart.
See, this is the voice I expected to hear throughout the whole album, but when it opened up with like Sting's like punky kind of voice, totally disarmed me and shattered a preconceived notion. And then we get into what's familiar, and it kind of makes me appreciate what was already familiar. I love it.
It's just something in my soul. There's a hole.
I love this already.
There's a hole in my life.
He definitely is in a hard time, it seems.
Be a happy man. Try the best I can. Or maybe I'm just looking for too much.
He's singing and playing at the same time.
From my life. Cuts me open like a knife. It leaves me vulnerable. I had this.
I love how many different turns it takes. You know, you go from something that sounds like this kind of low vibe swingy thing, and then, you know, you kind of have like a jazzy 12-bar blues thing happening, while Sting is kind of walking all over this transitionary moment.
There's a hole in my life.
So cool.
There's a hole in my life. Be a happy man.
The 12, we're kind of back to the 12 barsy thing.
Or maybe I'm just looking for too much. There's something missing from my life. Cuts me open like a knife.
This elevation moment here is amazing. Such an uplift left turn.
Vulnerable, I had this disease. I shake like an incurable. God help me, please. Whoa, there's a hole in my life. There's a hole in my life. Yeah, 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 yeah.
You have really interesting dynamics, this whole thing. It's kind of cool to see, like, this bass is just doing so many different things, and they walk into so many different parts where it, like, kind of feels like it changes time. And they take a lot of left turns, you know? They do this da-down, you know, thing on the bass, but then you've got this kind of phaser sounding guitar, like, bow, bow. There's a little bit of a reggae vibe to it, like kind of reggae meets jazz, like, but they transition and end up in like rock places. It's really a cool melting pot of a lot of different sounds. I love that. It's based on the songs I'd heard, I didn't know if they came from different albums or what. So I knew that they had a little bit of the reggae thing to them, but I didn't know that they were this much of a melting pot when it came to their sounds. And this is, again, right off the first rip. Like, this is album number 1. Yo, Mickey the Mousy, thank you for coming back 9 months. Thank you for the sub, homie. I love this part. That uplift.
It leaves me vulnerable. I hate this disease. I shake like an incurable. God help me, please. Whoa,
This admittedly does make me think a little bit like they listened to the first 2 or 3 Steely Dan albums. Like, some of the jazzy transitions this takes, it does feel like in some ways this song pays a bit of homage to the Dan. And I don't think it's like derivative in any way, shape, or form. It just kind of and maybe it's only similar stylistically because they were both kind of doing that like multi-genre melting pot, blend of music. But these transitions and timing, the way that Sting sings, and the way that you have his mixed vocals, it feels like him and Fagan at least edited their vocals similarly. This is ripping, dude. The bass. No, I want to hear it again. Didn't need to board fade that one, even though it still it had somehow both a concise and decided ending and a board fade. Like, they were like, no, we don't need the decays from the sound. Let's just cut it. We need the extra seconds for the vinyl. I don't know if that's really how it went down, but man, was this a deep track? Because that feels like it would be a massive hit. As far as these albums. This album, which were like the songs that had real radio play? I'm guessing Roxanne and So Lonely, because those are the ones I know. But were there other, like, was never a single? Not a single as far as I know. Why not? Somebody whiffed. Okay, so the first three were like the big ones, huh? Can't Stand Losing You. Okay, if I've heard that one, I'll let you know. But Hole in My Life is one of that's a song that was, to me, like, I never heard the name of it. It was, to me, what I would have guessed is a deep. Would you call that a deep track? Let me know which ones are deep tracks as we go through, because I don't know. Let me know if it was a single or a deep track. Just let me, as we go through this, help me out. We've got a long day ahead of us of the police. So if you need to pull me over and write me a deep track or a single citation, do it. We're back to the punk sound. Nah. I want to. What's the guitar player's name? Forgive my ignorance. I want to pay a special applause to give a special applause to him all throughout the album. This is a one guitar player band. So he when you think about it, in a lot of ways, he has to serve as both lead and rhythm, and he accomplishes this so masterfully. Like, I want you to listen here. You have these little bing, 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 bing. And then out of this, we're going to transition into another run. And now we're... And then from here... I love that squealy little added bit. That was nice. This is a Stewart song, huh? Okay. So I haven't heard Beato's interview with Andy or Sting. So I'm kind of saving those for after we do the police catalog day. With it constantly in mind to everybody that the only reason I'm listening to the police is because of the voice of Stuart Copeland and not Sting. Not that I have anything against Sting, but his was not the voice that made the police seem really cool and made me want to listen to it. I'd heard the hits, but it wasn't until I heard the perspective of Copeland that I was like, yep, deal. I'm going to listen. Let's go. As I was saying about Andy, I think my point has been made. Guys, can we get some W's for that guitar solo? And also, I'm going to run it back. I think it's really great that, he just comes in here and really proves the point I was making. Real dirty and squealy with it. Reminds me a little bit of Lifeson. And that that kind of descending chaos, it literally panned left to right ear. TLC, love it. Talk about a taster. What did I just hear? That's a sax? We just get a little bit of avant-garde saxophone in the middle? This song is about Rod Stewart, huh? Don't want to find out what you've been taking. Don't want to read about the love you've been making. Don't want to hear about the life you're faking. Don't want to read about the muck they're raking. Peanuts, peanuts. I kind of like it. You know, I've said a lot. This is actually a conversation that Mel and I have had, kind of an ongoing one that Mel and I have had behind the scenes. But Rod Stewart is kind of an artist that I'm inclined to like the art and not really like the artist. He's right up there with like Woody Allen, you know, and Morrissey, you know, like he is a guy whose reputation I am not a fan of, whose like energy kind of rubs me raw a little bit. He is very much the embodiment of a rock star, and like, you know, I there's just something about the man that like makes me feel a little bit like, ugh, you know. But like, do I think his music rips? Absolutely, right? Like, do I think he's like fantastic at his thing? Absolutely. He's really, really a friggin' amazing voice. But do I think Woody Allen makes good films? Absolutely. Do I want to spend an afternoon with Woody Allen? No. I don't. I don't. And the same thing about Morrissey. Do I love his music? Ah, yeah, I do. Do I wanna like have like a sit down conversation with him? Some things are just better left undisturbed. Like my enjoyment of artists whose personalities I would likely go against the grain of. Do you have people like that? Peanuts was a ripper, dude. Peanuts really was a ripper. I love, anytime I love anytime a song like kind of shoots a shot. Not depending on the shot it takes. Like I feel like Copeland is a guy that would shoot a shot in good fun. You know what I mean? Like, and kind of speak his mind. Like, and honestly, I think it's like kind of the attitude I get. Like the ethos of this song certainly seems like the ethos he embodied with his, like, again, sort of wholesome irreverence, right? Like, and it does seem as though he is that, like, wholesome irreverence. He wants to just go in there and bang his drums. He doesn't care about his parts. He just wants to go and play, like, with music, with high energy, and lay it all out there. And, you know, say what he feels like he wants to say. Like, and in this case, I don't think anybody disagrees with the fact that nobody cares about the drugs somebody's doing or who he's doing stuff with. Right? Like, so I get that. Wholesome irreverence. I really appreciate that. And I think that there's a lot of high energy in the rhythm section in particular. Like, I also want you to consider the dynamics between the bass and the drummer here. I've talked about how really cool it is that Andy has these, like, he's like lead guitar 1.5, right? Like rhythm lead hybrid, and he's masterful at it. He fills the spaces when he needs to. He rips them out when he needs to. But Sting and Stewart really have such an interesting blend. When you hear the work and the cross work between the bass and the drums, you hear the energy of the drums, and you kind of realize that, like, the drum sound got laid down first. So in a lot of ways, Sting's bass has to rise to the occasion of what Stewart had already laid down. When you really sit and kind of think about that, that's a real, like, you probably don't get Sting the bass player if you didn't have Stewart the drummer. And if you've played in a band before and you've ever been the musician that had to, like, kind of rise to the occasion to fill the spot, like, you know that feeling, right? Like, when the other members in the band are better than you, you got to do your part to fill your part. And I think Stewart brought such an energy to the drums that made Sting have to lay down bass work that matched the energy. And then from there, who wants to get another, like, you're a trio, who wants to get another musician? So he has to then learn how to sing it and play it at the same time. I think it's really cool. And he calls himself Sting for the same reason that Morrissey is not a guy that's called Steve.
Called you so many times today, and I guess it's all true what your girlfriend say. But you don't ever want to see me again, and your brother's gonna kill me and he's 6'10". I guess you call it cowardice.
I think maybe I have heard this.
To go on like this, I can't stand losing. I can't stand losing. I can't stand losing you.
I've heard at bare minimum this part, this transition, I'm familiar with. That part I get. I love this bass line so much, and this reggae vibe.
I can't stand losing you. I see you sent my letters back and my LP records, and they're all scratched. I can't see the point in another day when nobody listens to a word I say. You can call it lack of confidence, but to carry on
This is a pretty big hit.
doesn't make no sense. I can't stand losing. I can't stand losing. I can't stand losing. I can't stand losing.
The building energy through
I can't
this.
stand losing. I can't stand losing.
Ooh.
Guess this is our last goodbye, and you don't care, so I won't cry. And you'll be sorry when I'm dead, and all this guilt will be
I gotta say, his writing really does stand out to me. I always thought maybe in not as many words, I always assumed, without thinking too deeply about it, that the police were kind of like a hits band because I'd only heard the hits. I didn't realize that there really was a heart dealing with some hard stuff writing these lyrics. Because even if he did write them about somebody else, I think there's got to be an empathy to be able to write words like this. I don't think you write words that you've never felt before. Like, you might try to feel them, like, therefore empathetically experiencing them through your imagination. But I think when I see some of this writing, like, it's heavy, and it somehow sounds so upbeat and happy, and like, it's got like the sound of hope to the message of sadness. It's a really interesting rub that I really appreciate.
I can't stand losing. I can't stand losing. I can't stand losing. I can't stand losing. I can't.
Like, I kind of interpret that as him saying, like, he's calling himself out for his pride and saying, like, I know who I am. I'm not changing it. This is what I am. This is the sum of my parts, and I can't stand losing, so I'm out. Like, it kind of feels like this almost like boisterous acquiescence, or like just realization of this is the sum of my parts. At least that's how I interpret it. Maybe I'm wrong. What's your read on this?
I can't stand losing. 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 I can't stand losing you.
You know, another impression I have of Sting, I watched this documentary about psychedelics and how they change your mind. Might have been called How to Change Your Mind. It wasn't the book. I read the book, and the documentary was a little bit different, but Sting participated in a documentary about psychedelics and having a pretty gnarly experience, and I can remember feeling like I appreciated his telling of that story, and kind of like, I think people that have taken psychedelics do kind of feel like a little telepathy. It's where I'm like, oh, you get it too, huh? Like, and so I do have, like, I kind of remembered that as I was sitting here listening to this. Like, I do have kind of I don't have any negative feelings about Sting. Like, I don't know really. I know that he butted heads with Stewart, but I don't have enough of a lore or backstory to say one way or another whether I think he is like a nice or not person. I do recall seeing that documentary and thinking that, like, Sting seemed like a good person and a kind person, even if he hasn't always been. I got the impression that when he filmed that documentary, he was just in a good place in life, a kind, peaceful place, and it didn't seem like it was, you know, I didn't get the vibe from him that he was a bad or rude person. In 2015, Andy said his former bandmates are all good friends. Apparently, it's easier to be friends with Sting than a bandmate. Totally reasonable. Yeah, I think people get weird about art and defensive about what they see as their art. And when you have different minds, like, I think Sting wanted the police to be a creative vehicle for his own art. And I think Stewart wanted the band to all have equal say in what maybe, and this is, again, my outsider looking in perspective of it, but a lot of bands have to wrestle with the identity of, are we the lead's creative vehicle, or are we a collective unit? And if you like, look at the Grateful Dead, they were not Jerry Garcia's creative vehicle, right? JGB was. But even then, it was like a rotating cast where everybody was important and it was collaborative. Sting went on to become Sting. his creative vehicle for himself. And I think from what I heard Stewart say, and he just wanted to be in a band. He was a band guy. I get that. Like you want to be a part of a collaborative process where I think Sting wanted to make art exactly as his vision intended it. And those are different visions. And to me, it seems like after just watching like a roughly 1 hour video of interview with Stuart Copeland, I feel like that seems to be a big point of maybe where the band went its own ways. Am I wrong?
Whoa! Whoa! Sweet baby, hide me like a broken ocean. Strange rhythm dreams before my eyes unfold. You lay there sleeping like an open door. I stepped outside myself and felt so cold. Take a look at my new toy. It'll blow your head into a boy. You fix everybody. You fix everyone.
Love it.
You fix everybody.
Love it.
You fix everyone. You fix everybody. You fix everyone. I thought about it and my dream was broken. I pictured images like dying breath. And I don't wanna ever survive. The only certain thing in life is death. Take a look at my new toy. It'll blow your head into a boy. You fix everybody.
I love that transition into this part. This part is so nice.
You fix everybody. You fix everyone. You fix everybody. You fix everyone.
It totally does too. Maybe it's just that it's like a trio of rockers, but I do get the impression that maybe Andy was a fan or had been listening to Lifeson with his work on Rush, because you get very similar guitar textures. They kind of fly off similar Madman handles and do some of those like squealy moments. And they both kind of have to do that lead guitar 1.5 thing where they're both rhythm and lead depending on the moment of the song and the dynamics that they're aiming for. And so maybe it's just a similar dynamic arrangement and mix with the guitar. But I do get the impression that Andy and Alex Lifeson were sort of cut from the same guitar player's cloth, even though the genres they play are quite different. Andy was the oldest, most experienced member of the band. Okay. I did not know that. Thank you for that. A big crescendo here. Dude, yes. The truth hits everybody. That was kind of one of the fast, unassuming bangers. Kind of had that punk rock meets classic rock thing that I really appreciated. Honestly, this was really good. I didn't realize, by the way, that Andy had played with so many other people. I didn't realize he might have been an early inspiration or influence on Lifeson. So maybe my timelines don't align. If anybody has context or like, any kind of subtext to that, let me know. Because again, to me, It just, and maybe they have nothing to do with each other than that stylistically they're both filling the same role, so they're doing it in similar ways. I don't know, but it does. One's playing does bring me to the other. Lifeson has said he was influenced by Summer's use of effects and atmospheric rhythm guitar playing, which helped shape Rush's more compact 80s sound. Okay. Wow. I didn't know that. I had no idea he was the guitar player he was. I'm really taken with his playing in this album. Born in the 50s. Okay.
Would they drop the bomb on us while we made love on the beach? We were the class they couldn't teach, 'cause we knew better. We were born in the 50s.
Okay, so look, I am in a very unique position on YouTube where my, believe it or not, target audience is people born in the 50s. So I'm not going to go out of my way and say anything dunking one way or another. I'm not going to come out here with like boomer hate or anything like that. But I am going to say I don't necessarily understand the song. But it does seem like it kind of does embody a generation. Just so we are clear here, in the last 28 days, this is where we're at, fellas. I see you. You are recognized, but can we put a W in the chat for the Lady Rooskies out there representing? Also, yeah. I have a channel that really, like, 10%, almost 10% of the people that watch my channel are above 65. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to go out of my way and dunk on the boomers because, like, they built me, dude. They built me. Like, so, yeah, like, if anything, W's for those guys, even if it's not a song that necessarily defines my generation, I believe it defines theirs. But yeah, this, I really think I have a pretty specific niche on YouTube, and this does not at all. I don't think most reaction channels look like that. And maybe for the music I listen to, this is anomalous as well. I don't know. We're not doing too bad with the age curve, I don't think. I definitely think I created the lunch table I always wanted to sit at, though. Because if you think about the stats, it definitely seems like, in a lunch table of 10, 9 to 1 male to female, I feel like that's pretty good. Like, it seems about like the lunch table like I sat at.
And they laughed when the king fell down the stairs. Oh, he should have known better. Oh, we hated our ends. And we messed in our pants.
We messed in our pants.
We lost our faith and prayed to the TV. Oh, we should have known better.
DJ. Thank you for the prime sub, homie.
Born in the born in the
What year did Born in the USA come out? When you think about the fact that this came out in 78, these are like some 20s, these are like some 20-year-old kids that are like telling their, current overlords, like, hey, screw you. You made us this way. You built us like this. Hey, screw you. Like, this is effectively them saying that, right? To us now, looking back, we'll call it, like it is, almost 50 years later, 48 years later, whatever you want to say. It's got a different, still true, but uniquely evolved truth to it. I was born in 91, and I'm just going to call it like it is. This song was the stinker on the album to me so far. Fun enough, inspired a funny conversation, is the stinker on the album to me. I was born in the 90s, so not that it, I think it is super cool that they wrote it because for the time, tremendous. For now, kind of a album filler, it feels like. Anyways, got to run an ad and let the Clarky Malarkey out. Then we're going to come back and we're going to finish this bizzle and continue on in our chronology. Be right back. Alrighty, friggin' dighty, guys. You're on Clark duty, and let's hop back in and close this album down, see if it sticks the landing. Be My Girl, Sally. Here we go. Also, I got oats overnight. I'm not sponsored or anything, but I really love the product. I love it already. The harmonies. Whoa. Was that a what? What? Was that a hard cut? Was that a hard cut? Whoa! What happened there?
I was blue and lonely. I couldn't sleep a wink. And I could only get unconscious if I'd had too much to drink. There was somehow something wrong somewhere, and each day seemed grey and dead. The seeds of desperation were growing in me head. I needed inspiration, a brand new start in life, somewhere to place affection. but I didn't want a wife. And then by lucky chance I saw, in a special magazine, an ad that was unusual, the like I'd never seen. Experience something different with our new imported toy. She's loving, warm, inflatable, and a guarantee of joy.
Is this it?
She came all wrapped in cardboard, all pink and shriveled down. A breath of air was all she needed to make her lose that frown. I took her to the bedroom and pumped her with some life.
Is he Lars in the real girling her?
And later, in a moment, that girl became my wife.
He's Lars in the real girling her. Watch that movie. It's so good. It's a Ryan Gosling that is not a sex symbol Ryan Gosling. It's his best movie by far. Watch that movie. It's this storyline. But yeah, sorry, throat bubble. I think he's Lars in the real girling her.
And pumped her with some life. And later, in a moment, that girl became my wife. And so I sit her in the corner and sometimes stroke her hair. And when I'm feeling naughty, I blow her up with air. She's cuddly and she's bouncy. She's like a rubber ball. I bounce her in the kitchen and I bounce her in the hall. And now my life is different since Sally came my way. I wake up in the morning and have her on a tray. She's everything they said she was, and I wear a permanent grin. And I only have to worry in case my girl wears thin.
Would you be my girl? 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 Would you be my girl?
Unironically, the deep track banger I wanted. Like, this was so perfect in so many unique and weird ways. Like, this is exactly the silliness of rock and roll that I think we need in the world. You know what I mean? It's kind of a lost thing, I think. And like, so many of the bands that and artists that we end up deep diving, you know, because of like random side quests, like I'll end up doing a side quest and listening to Frank Zappa, and then all of a sudden I'm fascinated with the Yellow Snow, you know? And I love those moments in music. I'll listen to Ween and like just start asking myself, who is the biggest man I ever did see? You know, like there are random moments in music that are meant to just make you smile. And this is one of those that just did that in a really silly kind of way. Like, he totally Lars in the real girlder, and like he found a way to not have to pull it. He found a way to simulate relationship. Yeah, I also have never understood them, but I'm not here to judge people, you know, to each their own. You know, you know, if you want to try to get really deep about it, like a blow up doll can't hurt you. It can't die. It won't laugh at you. It will exist as you want it to because you choose every bit of it. It's not that I'm saying it's good. It's not that I'm saying I relate. It's not that I'm saying I understand it. It's that I'm saying that's what I'm led to believe because I've watched Law and Order. Specifically Special Victims Unit. So, you know, what I just said was particularly informed by that. But I do... Was that the Eagle song? Like, I think that was an eagle song there at the end. Was that an eagle cry that we heard? Nice little taster ending, huh? Sally popped a leak. Oh, bummer. He wore too thin. Okay, now we got to decide if this album sticks the landing. This has already been a tremendous first foray into the Police. I'm so excited that we decided to do their entire catalog in a day. I'm also excited to see what I end up liking the best. For the first timers in the chat, the Raw Doggers, the people that are listening to the Police for the first time along with me, what has your first impression been? Where is this hitting you? Guys, let's close it down and decide amongst ourselves if we think it sticks the landing, shall we? Love that bass. He's singing. Yeah, it definitely reminds me of like Les Claypool bass kind of sounds, you know. But obviously, it's a little bit different. It's the most dynamic bass song I think we've heard so far, and it's the one that is most impressing me with Sting's abilities as a singer bass player. This is nuts. The production is also nice. Nice. It feels like it's a combination of like scatting and like it kind of feels like it's almost he just stepped up to the microphone and went for it. Like this feels like it's almost a freestyle vocal take, you know what I mean? The bass stuff is tremendous. I truly the bass work on this song is MVP. Stewart is amazing. Without question, but like I cannot get past that Sting played and sang at the same time. Even with the scatting stuff, it's still just as hard as singing, you know? Like it is. Try it. You'll see. Like that he is doing this. And again, it almost feels like Stewart has a drum part that Sting is like, you know what? I'm gonna really, really stretch myself on this one. And I like, golly goodness, it's like he figured out a way to kind of turbo strip himself as an artist to get better. That was one of the things that Stewart talked about in his interview, is that Sting had to learn how to sing and play bass, so he had to practice at home all the time. And I thought that was really cool tidbit to the story. I love these, like, what are they, reverse piano or sounds? I remember the part, I don't remember the song. And he plays backwards piano? Okay. Buddy. As far as first impressions go, as far as freshman records go, I would say this is in the argument for one of the best. The bass work is just so good. And the hand drums. The hand drums are panning left and right. You hear it? Well, well, well. That is a fantastic first impression. You know, like I said, this whole idea to go through the entire catalog today simply did come from the idea that I, you know, heard a really good interview, and this album completely supported that I was supposed to listen to this music. I loved it. Three guys made this noise, right? And you hear these awesome, like the way they play off of one another, the way they have the dynamics. Sting's very versatile with his voice, and I did not realize he was more than just the one-trick pony voice. You know, if you only hear the hits, you kind of hear the same version as Sting, I think. This had such a powerful energy to it, had such a cheerful melancholia to it. Again, a wholesome irreverence. It definitely was made by some 20-somethings that were, like, excited to be making music together. And it seemed like that excitement absolutely, rings through in the music. Like, if you've ever played in a band and you had that moment where you're playing together and you're kind of looking around and you're like, wow, what we're making sounds good. Like, there is an incredible rush of excitement that you get hit with. I don't know how to describe it. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen like a good film representation of that moment before. But like, if you're playing and you kind of realize like the band is jiving, things sound good, like this is working, there is this really cool thing that happens in your brain, like a euphoria, like a smile. It's literally like your body is smiling. I don't know another way to put it. I'm probably waxing poetic on this more than I should, but this album has a feeling of that. You know, like the band is excited because they know that they made something awesome. And to me, that is really, really, really cool. I appreciated the absolute heck out of this album. I'm so happy. I'm eager to see which one I end up liking the most out of the 5. First timers, let me know again what you thought of it. But guys, as far as freshman albums go, Steely Dan's Can't Buy a Thrill is one of my all-time favorite. Freewheelin' Bob Dylan. I guess that's not like a first-time album. That's just the one that people know the most. So I won't say Freewheelin' counts because it doesn't. Because like Bob Dylan, I guess would be his first album. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really, really, really good freshman albums, but I think as far as freshman albums go, this is in the conversation for one of the best, for sure, for sure. Television, I don't know. I'll have to think on that, because that was also a really good album. Guys, I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for the positivity that you show both to me and to one another. Continue to be the best, and until I see you next, be introspective and consider the birds. Goodbye.